Hello everyone and welcome to another video with Fix This House, and I'm here today with the GE Ultrafresh front load washer, and I've been tasked with the chore of replacing this door gasket. It's been leaking for a while. At least I believe that's where it's leaking. There's evidence of water coming down the front here, and we end up with a puddle of water in front of the machine when we use it, and it's been getting worse. I don't see on this gasket any holes, but I can't determine where else it might be leaking, and I think we're just going to go ahead and replace it. And while I have it open to replace the gasket, I'll get a better look at other components that could be contributing to the leak. You know, you've got a pump drain here that sometimes leaks. We check that. The seal on that is pretty good. I don't think that's it. So we're going to go ahead and replace this gasket, and hopefully this video will be of some help to you if your machine is leaking and if you want to replace that gasket yourself. A couple of preliminary considerations is our washer and dryer are stacked, and I'm going to have to do something. Do I have to take this dryer down? Possibly, but I think because I do have to take this front cover off. But what I'm thinking I might be able to do, let me grab a flashlight. What I'm thinking I might be able to do is remove the brackets that secure them and just slide the dryer back a few inches so that I can get to here. It's right here where we have to take off that front panel. So I'm thinking and hoping I just need to slide it back a bit, and then I'll be able to do what I need to do. And if I'm wrong, I'll get some strong helpers and we'll just go ahead and take it off. But let me take care of some of those preliminary steps. Of course, you want to turn off the water, unplug the dryer and washer from power, and be safe about things. So let's get started. Alright, a quick peek at what I did here. I removed the screws from the bracket and slid the dryer back about 4 inches. Did that there, and I reached over and did the other one down there. So now I can see here on the front that I should be good, because I got to take this part off. I don't think I have to take the top of the machine off, but I do have to take off this front control panel area. So having slid the dryer back, I think I'm in good shape now. All right. So my next task, I think I'm gonna take the door off, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. I think just because it'll be easier with this out of the way. It's a little awkward trying to remove the front panel when the door, you know, it's awkward to have the heavy door swinging there. So I'm going to take that off as our next step. And I've got a nice little magnetic tray so I don't lose my screws and hardware as we go. All right, so moving forward now. Okay, so next, to take off this control panel section, we got to pull out the Smart Dispense thing. And I'll move this over to the sink. And we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phillips head screws that need to come out next. There we go. Can't get that guy in there. There we go. Now let's see if this guy will pop off for us. Lift, slide, good. short wires back there. And that's going to be kind of awkward. I don't have any place to set this. So I may see if I can unplug these two connectors. So something I wanted to point out that I've observed, having removed the Smart Dispenser tray and the control board here at the top, I see a water up here, and it would appear that my Smart Dispense thing is leaking. And I'm wondering if maybe that's the reason that I'm finding water on the floor, not really that this door gasket is leaking. It's kind of making its way down. That's just a thought. Now I'm going to go ahead and complete the job and replace that gasket, because that's what we're doing here today. But this is something else to think about. And I want to resolve that leaking Smart Dispenser while we're at it. Alright, continuing with the removal of our front panel, I've got several screws, 1, 2 at the corners, then 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top, not that guy. Then there's 3 across the bottom, all the way down. I'll have to get on my belly to get to them. I'm not going to show you that, because then you'd see how much dirt we have under our machine. But we got to take these off. And remember, this guy here, he's a little different. He comes kind of out like a post. And I think our control panel kind of clips into that guy. So remember where he goes. And yeah, so it's been wet up here. Still is. Alright, so those are the ones across the top. Now I'll get the ones at the bottom. I'll be right back. So I'm about ready to pull this front off. We're getting close to it. There's 3 screws here on the top that they hold on the, I guess it's the vent mechanism. So they have to come out, and then this has to slide back, I think. And then the only remaining step before pulling this cover off is to get the band, the spring that holds on the front here. Okay, so I need to pull the spring-loaded ring. It's behind here, and I get it. The spring here is at the bottom. So I can kind of pry it out with a screwdriver, like this. All right, there we go. So that's good. Now, this is free from the front of the can, and I should be able to bring the can off. Okay, so let's see if we can manage that. There's a short wire connector back here. You got to unplug that. And there's also one here, which of course you can't see right now. You know what I need to do? I need to take this off I need to take the door lock mechanism off. Alright, that's just going to hang, and our door face comes off. Beautiful. So before we go any further, see, I was looking at the manual, and it comes with the washer, you know, troubleshooting tips, leaking water, door gasket is damaged. Well, we're changing that out. Check back left of washer for water. If this area is wet, you have oversudsing condition. I don't think that applies to us. Fill hoses or drain hoses improperly connected. I can check that. I don't think that's the issue. Household drain may be clogged. Nope. Dispenser clogged. Alright, so this is possible. The Smart Dispenser, powder soap may cause clogs inside the dispenser and cause water to leak out the front of the dispenser. Aha! Please remove drawer and clean both drawer and inside of dispenser box. Now, so I took off this console. Here it is upside down on my desk, and you know the Smart Dispenser plugs in here, and so you see you got some black stuff here, and I think it's through here where it has been leaking, and I showed you the water on top there. So I think that might be part of it, and I'm going to try to do something to improve that before we're done here today. Incorrect use of detergent, no. Dispenser box cracked, I don't know about that. But this dispenser issue, I think, is part of, or maybe the whole problem that we're dealing with here. And of course, I want to go ahead and replace the door gasket anyway, because we've come this far. But, and because I already bought it and I have it and I want to put it on. And that'll be nice. But I think this is where we've been having a leak, and that's what I need to rectify. So I've got a few ideas. We'll come back to that. Alright, so as we move along here, we're about ready to take this off. So we got some tubes and things to disconnect from the old blue gasket. Here's a light. That has to come out. I'll figure that out. Here's our vent mechanism with the little fan here. It's got a Phillips head screw that I think will loosen this bracket. Here's another hose. I'm not sure what this one does. Clamp. Another clamp here. And this is the one that's coming from the Smart Dispenser. I want to make sure this one's not clogged up anywhere. I really don't think it is. It's a pretty big hose. Not much going to clog that up. But we'll check that when we take it off. And then, right down here, we're going to have to turn this screw here to loosen the inner bracket that clamps down on the gasket to hold it in place on the drum. That's light, right? Okay. That needs to come off all the way. I think it does. Okay. All right. This is the bracket that holds the vent mechanism to the gasket. This comes out easily. So you got more water on here, and I shouldn't have water up there. So it's dripping down out of these holes up here. We don't want water on this. I think this is our problem, more so than this gasket. Alright, it's great fixing stuff. Alright, let me get some pliers. We'll take off those clamps right there. This guy gets in there with those clamps up after all. Alright, you know, I would like to pull this out, make sure it's not clogged up or anything. I don't think it is. Yeah, that's not clogged. Alright, so everything's disconnected there. Now we got to get a screwdriver or some kind of nut driver. Take that guy off. Alright, it's not a 1/4 inch. It looks like 9/32. That should be enough. I hope. There we go. Maybe I need to do a little more. All right, that should allow this to open up enough for us to take it off. There we go. We're working our way around. And there's that guy. And I think I'll just peel this off now. Gotta clean this out, I guess. All right. Awesome, so it's off. All right, so here's the old gasket. It's pretty, and down at the bottom, you know, it's just very dirty. A lot of hair, Dalmatian fur. Maybe that contributes to it leaking, but I'm not convinced it does. Don't judge. Yours is probably just as nasty. So I'm going to clean this out as best I can. And you might want to just follow these steps to clean and reinstall your existing gasket if there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to go ahead and replace mine because I got a new one. But taking it off like this to clean it out also might be a good idea. So I'm going to do some cleaning down in here, and then I'll be ready to install the new gasket. Okay, so obviously it's the top where our vent thing goes, and then there's indicators on the side that line up with the different. I'm starting to think I didn't need to put this on in advance. So let's get this guy in place. Oh, I don't remember how it went. Here's the tricky part. Alright, I'm making okay progress. Not great, but... So this part's going to come around this outer lip. The inner part goes behind it. And then this arrow is going to line up with this mark. So I'm not quite straight yet. I'm getting there. And I'm going to keep working it till I get it where I want it. Alright, so I've wrestled the gasket into place. And what you got to do is make sure this back part goes all the way back against there and hooks over the edge. And you got to take a flashlight and just make sure it's seated all the way back there. And once you've got that, then it's time to get the ring. Alright, these marks line up here, this one over here, so I think I'm good to go. And of course here at the top is where our vent fan is going to be connected. So let's put on the band. So it's going to be like that. All the way back and around. Into the groove. It's groovy. Alright, now we tighten this guy right over here. Hope you can see that. I'm going to try to put it on just like the other one was, about the same tightness. Alright, that feels about right. And I like that. It's good. It's time to put the front back on. Now I've got my light plugged in, our vent fan, 2 hoses. So what we got to do is, it's a bit of a balancing act. We got the light, we got this lock mechanism here. That has to get connected. We got a wiring harness over here that has to get connected, and of course we got to bring the gasket through to hook on the front of this lip. So it's kind of a little bit of a balancing act. Let's start with this. Start with this switch right here, lock switch. And I got another screw there somewhere. I think it's this guy. These are just going into plastic, so you don't want to screw them down too tight. Just snug them. Okay, that's good. Then over here I got to make this connector. I don't remember how it went in. Alright, so I got the wires connected on both sides back behind this plate. Now, this cover. I'm just going to lift it up into place. And kind of figure it out as I go. So this is going to have to be pulled through. Alright, so what I've been wrestling with is trying to line up the holes in the plastic vent mechanism. I've got my hand sticking up through there and kind of pushed it forward so these gray tabs are toward me. And now I can see that the holes are lined up. So I can go ahead and put these screws in. There. Now we can go ahead and put in the screws that go along the top and hold down the cover. Alright? So I'll do that next. Alright, I'm going to try to hang this outer, what do you call it, clamp ring. And so this one is held on with spring tension. But to get it on, I think you got to expand that spring, and that is where it gets a little challenging. So I'll try to line it up so the spring's at the bottom. Alright, so to get that under there, you got to really expand that spring. That's where it's a little bit challenging. Alright, here's what I'm trying, and this is a trick I saw from another YouTuber, where I'm using some cable ties and an open end and a wrench to expand that spring. And then I can place it in there, and once I have it in place, then I can cut the cable ties and it should be good. Maybe. Possibly. And I'm close here, right? So I'm going to push this back. Back under there. Ready? This might do it. Haha! That's actually very, very ingenious. I don't remember who the guy that tipped me off about this trick is. I'm going to definitely link to his video. That's a pretty good hack. And that gets it right where it needs to be. So there. Our gasket's on. Put the door back on. Put our control panel back on. Awesome. Okay, so all that remains is to put this control panel back on. And it hooks over these two knobs. And then it screws down over here at the Smart Dispense unit. And we determined that our leaking was here at the Smart Dispense. And I've done a lot of cleanup here around here. And if you look here, some of that same crud was around in this groove. And I'm going to try something very unconventional and possibly open to criticism. But I think it might be worth the risk. I want to take some clear silicone and fill this groove with it. Then this part of the Smart Dispense unit will fit in that groove. We'll let it dry before firing up the machine. And we'll wait till tomorrow. And I'm hoping that that is going to seal that leak. I saw no other problems with the Smart Dispense. There's no obstructions. I don't see any clogs. And I think that might help seal it up for us. And you say, well, that's going to make it very difficult next time you need to take this panel off. And you are right. But I'm willing to take that chance because, well, because I can. And because it's not something that I take apart very often. And also, I'll remember that for next time, so I'll know what I'm up against. To me, stopping the leaking is more important at this stage in the game. So I'm going to fill this, I plugged in my cables, I'm going to fill this groove with the silicone. Then I'm going to put the cover on, secure it in place. There's 5 screws, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that that's going to stop the leaking. Yep. Well, you know what? I don't have to do the top. I don't think it's going to be leaking it out the top. Let's just do the sides and the bottom. Right? Okay, there we go. Take some of that off my fingers, and we're going to stick it in. All right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. like that very much. You know, and if this does continue to leak, it'll just leak out here instead of leaking between the cover and the Smart Dispense unit. I think that's going to work really well. All right, now we got to put the screws back in. The middle ones go into plastic, so you got to use the right ones. Again, that's pulling it right up against there. That is going to be a good seal. Yep, it might be a pain next time I need to take this off, but hopefully that's not going to be anytime soon, if ever. And that guy goes in. Yes, I'm happy with that. All right. Couple more screws, 1, 2, 3, and that'll be it. All right, well, everything's put back together. I've repositioned the dryer on top and secured my mounting screws. I have another video on how to stack your washer and dryer if you want to check that out, if that can be of help to you. I'm going to wait until tomorrow to put the tray back into the Smart Dispense, and we won't do any laundry until that silicone dries. So I showed you how to replace the gasket, the door gasket, and that worked out just fine. But the reality is, I think our leaking water was up here with the Smart Dispense, and I took some unconventional methods to try and fix that. Hopefully that will solve the problem for us and everything will be back working like it should. So with that, I'm going to sign off thanking you for watching the video. I hope it is interesting and helpful to you. Your comments and questions are certainly appreciated in the discussion below, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video. Bye-bye.